you got me all day, haunted by you, haunted by you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe. If you're new here, I hope you'll stick around and I hope you'll like and subscribe. In this video, I want to talk about some of my favorite upgrades that I've done to my Indian Chieftain. If you're a motorcyclist, if you have been riding for any amount of time, you probably have done some upgrades to your bike. We all do. It's kind of an obsession. You know, it's one of those things. It's just what we do, you know. And I've done a lot of upgrades to this bike, whether it's the air intake and the exhaust pipes, or the handlebars, the windshield. There's a whole lot of things that you can do to a motorcycle to make it your own, but there are 5 upgrades in particular on the Indian Chieftain that I find to be absolute must-have, must-do upgrades, and they're some of my favorites. So let's flip the camera around and let's talk about it. Okay, so before we get into the upgrades on the motorcycle, I want to welcome you to my unfinished garage that I've been meaning to finish for 3 years. There's going to be a video in upcoming weeks where I'm finally going to get into insulating my garage. I'm super excited about that. So this is a metal garage. If you've watched some of my other videos, you've seen my review on it, and I love it, but it needs insulation, and we're going to do that soon. So, all right, let's get back into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, and it's probably, in my opinion, the very first upgrade that you should do, and again, these are my opinions, but it's the headlight. The stock headlight on the Indian Chieftain was just not good. It was LED. You would think that because it's an LED headlight, that it would not be necessary to upgrade it, but it is. The stock headlight didn't throw far enough to do any sort of nighttime riding, in my opinion. I thought it was borderline dangerous, but I opted to go for the Indian motorcycle adaptive headlight. And the reason I went for this adaptive headlight, because there are some aftermarket options out there that are much more affordable. Eagle Lights in particular is one of them, but this adaptive headlight is running about $550, I think, $550, somewhere in that ballpark. But I had a $350 credit with Indian that I had to use at the time, so I was like, let me just use it on the adaptive headlight. I am very, very pleased with the adaptive headlight. It works really well. I don't know if you'll be able to see it unless I turn it on. It has like a halo around the edges, which I like a lot. And then as you lean, these lights here throw light into the corners, which is just fantastic. In addition to that adaptive headlight, I did opt to add the additional driving lights. And now that I have them, I wouldn't want to be without them. The combination of the adaptive headlight and the driving lights is just phenomenal. It's just, there's not much else I can say. It's just so much better than stock. So, first thing on my list was the headlights. Number 2 on my list of must-do upgrades, and it follows suit with the headlights, but it's lighting on the back end of the bike as well. So, shortly after I got this bike, I was away at Laconia Bike Week, and I was riding, and it was nighttime, and I was at a red light, and someone pulled up next to me, and I was wearing a black helmet, a black riding jacket. I think I might have even been wearing black pants at the time, but he pulled up next to me and was like, dude, you need better lighting on that bike. I could barely see you. And I was like, really? I have tail lights. And after that sort of like interaction, I was like, man, maybe he's right. Maybe the lighting in the back of the bike is just not good enough. So I went ahead and added additional lighting to the saddlebags. These are also the Indian branded lights. They work super well. I do wish that they worked as turn signals as well, but they're only running lights and brake lights. So there are other options. I believe Custom Dynamic makes an option, and there's another brand. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but there is another brand. I know Custom Dynamics makes like a smoked version of these. I don't know. I just decided to stay stock, and I went with the Indian branded lights. And I am super happy with them. So that's number 2 on my list of must-do upgrades. If you're riding an Indian motorcycle, Indian Chieftain, any motorcycle, I suppose. But that's number 2 on my list of upgrades. Number 3 on my list of must-do upgrades on the Indian Chieftain, the seat. When I took delivery of this motorcycle, my wife and I went out on our first ride together. We did about 150 miles on the first weekend that I had it. And my ass and her ass were both so sore at the end of that ride. The stock seat, it was like, it had you riding way up. It almost felt like you were on top of the tank. It made me feel crammed, like I didn't have enough leg room. And although it felt comfortable, just squishiness and all that, it felt comfortable initially. After any sort of distance, it just didn't work for me. So it may work for you, but it didn't work for me. So the seat was an absolute must for me to change out. And with that, I kind of knew that I wanted to be pushed back a little. So I went for the Mustang wide tripper, and it does push me back about 2 inches. It gives me more leg room, puts me in a really super comfortable position. And so I'm really happy with my choice of seat. I know some people go through several seats before they find the one that works for them, and thankfully that wasn't the case for me. I was able to get it right the first time. But I love this Mustang wide tripper seat. Let me flip the camera around and give you a better view of this seat. Okay, so this is the Mustang wide tripper seat. Again, like I said, it sits you back a little bit further, about 2 inches further back. I opted not to get the backrest, and I was initially happy with that decision because it's been great. I haven't felt like I needed the backrest. However, I recently changed out the bars, and I'm still trying to get used to it, but I do feel like a little bit more back support now might be helpful, but I'm still kind of feeling it out, so I'm not sure whether or not that's a necessity for me yet. But if I were to do it again, I probably would have got the option with the backrest so that I could use it or not use it as I please. But I am very happy with this Mustang seat. So, again, number 3 on my list of must-do upgrades is the Mustang, the seat in general, but in my case, the Mustang seat. Number 4 on my list of must-do upgrades, and this one surprised me because this is something I've never had on any motorcycle until recently, and I just used it the other day for the first time, and it's the heated grips. Holy shit. I never knew what I was missing, and I just installed these heated grips 2 weeks ago when I did the bars, and last weekend my wife and I went on a 300-mile road trip, and it was a cool day, and I turned them on, and it's got settings 1 through 10, and settings 2 and 3 were really comfortable for me. I didn't know what I was missing, and I am in love with heated grips. Now that I know what I was missing, I can't believe that I went 30 plus years of riding motorcycles without heated grips. You may have a differing opinion on this one, but I am in love with the heated grips. So number 4 on my list of must-do upgrades, heated grips. Number 5 on my list of must-do upgrades, and this is something that you can't see, so I'll just have to describe it, but I recently did a proper tune on this bike. I got the Power Vision 4 from DynoJet, and I got a tune from Fuel Moto. And you probably saw that video when I first published it a couple months ago, but man, I wish I didn't wait so long to do it. It completely changes the bike. The throttle response is amazing. The power is better. Everything is more linear. Before I got that tune, I could never use sport mode because it always felt really twitchy. It was definitely powerful, but it was twitchy and it felt unusable to me. Now the bike just lives in sport mode. It's got power, it's fast, it's torquey, but it's smooth. And I am in love with the Fuel Moto tune on this bike. It completely transformed this bike into just a fabulous machine. And of course, that is not worth doing unless you take care of your intake and your pipes and you do all your performance upgrades that you want to do first, because you don't want to tune your bike and then go change anything on it and then have to retune it. So, make sure you get your air intake and your pipes and all that stuff squared away first. But once you get to that point, a proper tune is going to change the way you feel about your motorcycle. And I can highly recommend Fuel Moto's tunes. It's just fabulous. So let's wrap this video up. So thanks again for watching. I hope that this was helpful. And like I said, these are just my opinions on upgrades. You can make your own upgrades and decisions about what you feel are best for you. These are just upgrades that I personally have found that I love on this bike, and there are so many other things. Like I said, you can do bars, windshields, lights, crash bars, toe rest for your bars. There's just, speaker upgrades. There's just so many things that you can do to your bike these days, whether it's comfort or performance or aesthetics. There are just so many things you can do to your bike, but these are 5 things that I've found are must-haves for me. And hopefully it gives you a little insight and a little bit of vision on what you could do with your bike. So thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe, share, and again, it doesn't cost you anything, so it'll help the channel, and I appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.